weight. What's the ideal fight you want to get him acclimated into the weight, or if you want to go into a
Yeah, it's not official yet, but obviously one of the problems with making the move to fight Teofimo was it is a very strong possibility that Boots could move to 54. So we'll plan that over the next week or so. He'll make the official announcement when the time is right. And if he moves to 54, you know, he wants the big fights. You know, we were asked if we'd be interested to fight Virgil Ortiz August 16th. Boots said yes, but Virgil's not ready to fight in August, so we'll probably fight in August. And I think that's a big fight towards the end of the year as well.
Guys, can you just raise your hands so we can get a microphone to you if you want to ask a question?
Question. How soon could we this fight Morajon versus Inoue?
Yeah, I'll tell you something, Inoue against MJ is one of the best fights in boxing. And I have to respect Inoue for taking it because the people around him didn't want to take that fight. And I kind of feel like I goaded them enough to take it. And I'm very pleased they took it because I see it as a 50-50 fight. The two best fighters in the division, the best fight in the division. And we're looking forward to being in Japan in September for that fight.
Johnny Boy Boxing that fight. Eddie, after a spectacular performance by Richardson Hitchens, he called out Devin Haney. Is that a must fight that's going to happen next?
Yeah, I think that, you know, Richie is trying to position himself with those bigger names, and I think the performance tonight was fantastic, exactly what he needed to do. Dominated him and then put his foot on the gas and got him out of there against a brave kambosos. So, you know, Richie will be looking to land that big fight next, and I think, you know, sooner or later he's going to get it.
Andy did a really good job. When you ask him a question, it's kind of like relatable, but if a fight with Muay doesn't happen, how do you see it going down? Do you think it's
I think Muay is a great fighter. You know, he's trained by Robert Garcia, who's for me one of the best trainers in the world. But I think Andy's very special, and I think you'll see him keep on improving against the levels of opposition. And you know, sometimes he's fighting not necessarily within his style, he's fighting to make it exciting. And when the better opposition arrives and someone that's more aggressive like Muay, I really feel like you're going to see the best of Andy Cruz. Don't forget, he's just had 6 fights in the professional code. So I see him as a heavy favourite to beat Muay, but I think he's a very good fighter.
Do you favour him over a guy like Gervonta Davis now?
But look, you know, all these guys are tremendous fighters. I think Gervonta Davis is a great fighter, but he loses, in my opinion, he loses a lot of rounds. And I think he'd lose rounds to Shakur, I think he'd lose rounds to Andy, but he's a great puncher and he's a great fighter. So I just want to see the fights. I mean, I thought George's speech after was tremendous, where he's like, guys, just make sure you fight each other. You know, whether it's Hitchens, whether it's Andy Cruz, Shakur, Tank, Teofimo, Devin, Ryan, Conor Ben. You know, all of these guys, and there's so many great young fighters coming through. Hopefully they all get in the ring together.
Eddie, Jay with Sport Box TV official. So with Richardson being in the ring with Teo, we did see that it looked like that they were getting along. Who do you prefer next for Richardson Hitchens? Do you prefer Teofimo or Devin?
I'm not sure Teofimo will fight Richardson Hitchens. I mean, the numbers that Teofimo wants to fight, the only way that fight can be delivered is through His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. So, you know, there's the dream world and then there's the real world. We're very aware of the real world and what that looks like, and then sometimes you get an unbelievable opportunity to fight on a Riyadh season card or a Ring Magazine card. And that's when His Excellency's making the fights that commercially probably couldn't happen without him. And that's a great example. Without Riyadh season, Hitchens against Teofimo Lopez just doesn't happen because Teofimo Lopez would want much too much money for that fight. And the same with Devin Haney against Richardson Hitchens. So the commercial reality is very different to the Riyadh season reality. So we hope that His Excellency likes a particular fight and these guys get an incredible opportunity to be part of a Ring Magazine or a Riyadh season card.
Thank you.
Georgie? Guys, great effort from George Kambosos tonight. Over to you guys for questions. Yep.
Christian, you have the mic. You need to, I'll give you the mic.
George, Jay.
Shout out.
All right. George, how are you? Congratulations on a good performance. So tell us the biggest difference you saw between Richardson Hitchens and Devin Haney, Teofimo. We know that you want to see them all in the ring fighting. Let us know what you thought about it.
Yeah, look, again, it's an honor to come back to New York, come back to Madison Square Garden. Everyone, another show here. Thank you to Eddie, Matchroom. I always appreciate you guys for giving me these opportunities. And if you take it all the way back, if it wasn't for these guys taking this fight, and who knows what would happen to the top rank and stuff. So, obviously, my promoter, Ludabella, my own company, Fresh Promotions. I just give them my all, man. And look, it's hard to. I've fought them at different stages of my career, so it's hard to gauge. But look, they're all tremendous talents. And like I've been saying, I just keep stepping to the best of the best. And win, lose or draw, I just want to keep fighting the best of the best. So yeah, look, it's hard. They both have different talents, all of them, and that's why they just got to fight each other. Make it happen, let them fight each other, and look, one of them will win, one of them will lose. Boxing fans, boxing media, promoters, support it. Support the winner, support the loser, and move on.
George, Sebastian Milo, Boxing Out with Fight on TV. You say you want to see all these guys fight each other. Just from a fan's perspective as well, what's the fight that you most want to see?
Look, I love the sweet science. I'm such a big fan of the sport. I sit there relentlessly watching every single different fight. And look, the exciting fight is obviously, as we know, Haney Hitchens, Lopez Hitchens, all these guys, Lopez, Devin Haney. You want to see them fight each other. And like I said, it's hard to tell who's going to be better than who, because on that night anything can happen. On any given night it can happen. It happened for me and a couple of years ago, and unfortunately it wasn't to be tonight, but I really believed in myself. I really had that eye, and it just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes, after a few wars, things just don't go to plan, but it is what it is.
Hey George, Vince the Rival, Boxing News 24. I saw you targeting the body a lot during the course of the fight. Exactly what was your strategy going into this fight?
Yeah, that was a plan. Body, stabbing that body, stabbing that right hand, the left rib to the body. I didn't fully execute the game plan. I didn't fully execute it. I went a little bit too much head hunting. My lead coach, Anton Kadusha, who unfortunately couldn't be here, as Eddie knows, visa issues, couldn't be here. But we had a great camp in Montreal, and big respect to Ramon Matthews, the assistant, who jumped up and had a tremendous camp. Russ Amber as well, my father in the corner, the manager. That was the game plan, break the body down, and I knew he was going to be sharp early, and I knew I could just, a bit like Rocky, just take the shots, and yeah, I knew I might get hurt. I did in round 3-4 with that body shot. It bloody hurt. But I just dug deep, and then I fired back, and I started having some good success. I clipped him a few times, busted up his lip, but it wasn't meant to be. And even when I did get put down, I still got up, 9-10. I wanted to go more. That's the warrior I am. I'm always going to die in that ring. I didn't stay down, and that body shot would have taken 100% of all of you here and anyone critiquing online. So, look, I'm a warrior.
George here, Chris with Boxing with Chris. No fighter knows a fighter better than himself. Second division, you fought them all. Even though it's kind of early to tell, how much do you feel like you have left in the sport?
I don't really know right now. For me, I've done so much in the sport, I keep my head up. I keep my head high. Losing is always a bitter pill to swallow, but come tomorrow, I'll swallow it, and we'll see what's next. For me, I've got a beautiful family, I've got 3 kids. And like I said, I just want to do something for my kids and family. It was only 80-something days ago when we had another good 12 rounder. So I've been active this year, been busy. And like I said, I've been busy these last 3 or 4 years. You talk about all these fighters, who's going to fight each other. Well, that George Kambosos from Sydney, who never had, a fair shake, from nothing, went over and did it all, man. And like I said, my cabinet's full, my bank account's full, and I've got a loving family. So what's next? I'm gonna go coach my son's footy team right now. He's only under fives, but that's what I want to do right now.
Happy Father's Day, brother.
Thank you very much, and it's my birthday too today.
Oh, happy
so,
birthday.
Thanks, Richie. Thanks, Richie, for the extra punches. There's more than 32.
Wanted that birthday present.
Hey Jim, this is Los with Fight Hype. As the father and trainer for George Kambosos, what do you feel, is the future for him now?
And look, at the end of the day, we worked so hard in this training camp, and we had the game plan to defeat Hitchens tonight. Obviously, the big moment, you step in that ring, and then all of a sudden, George puts himself in position, he gets within range, and then the hands are not really, he's not letting the hands go. We did work on targeting the body. George went a little bit more head hunting. He wanted to punch between punches and kind of sort of like catch when he was throwing that jab and kind of punch with him. And look, we had a perfect game plan. There's no excuses. At the end of the day, George is a warrior. He's fought some really tough fights, and I just believe, these fighters, they take shots, and then maybe they feel that same shot from the fight before. Maybe sometimes mentally it gets in their head a little bit, thinking, oh shit, I know this shot kind of hurt me last time, it's just hard to know what a fighter goes through. But right now, George doesn't have to think about nothing. The simple thing is, he's going to go away with his family, he's not hurt, he got beat by the better man tonight. And the simple thing is, he's just going to go and have a holiday, and we're not going to put him in a position if we don't have to, just to keep proving that George has got to keep getting in there. We don't need to do that. I mean, that's something that me and George will have as a personal discussion. And first and foremost, it's about his health. And I just think when these fighters, they just get battle worn. And I think, George has had some big wars, and it just starts to tell in certain shots, and it kind of puts a bit of doubt in his mind moving forward. But we had the plan to execute. We just couldn't execute. I mean, the instructions in the corner were great. I mean, we were hoping George would kind of, start to put that together. But like I said, Hitchens is no mug. He's sharp, and he could read the play. But we knew how to take the game away. We just didn't. George didn't execute the game. And I know it's easier said than done too. So yeah, right now, Mark's going to sit back. He's going to go away with his family to Portugal, enjoy like a long break, and that'll do.
Last one for George, guys, yeah.
This is directed to George. For the last 5 years, you fought at the highest level. I'm talking about like Miller's Road, tough fight after tough fight. What did fighting at the top level teach you about George Kambosos?
Yeah, look, if you talk about resumes, I think George Kambosos has the best resume in boxing. You look at the names I fought: undisputed champions, unified champions, Olympic gold medalists, world champions, division above. Everyone knows I've got a big heart, and I was saying it every time I got up in every round. Warrior, you saw it. In round 3, 4, when you heard me, beat down on the mouth guard and fired back. And like I said, I had some success, but it didn't teach me anything new. I know I'm a warrior. I know I give everything to the sport. The fans know it, and the fans respect it. And like I said, I fought the best of the best, and that's all I can ever ask for. And I hope the fans respect it. I hope the media respects it. I hope the promoters respect it. And like I said, I look at myself in the mirror. I wanted to win, of course. I wanted to become a 2-division champion. I think this victory would have made me one of the all-time greats, in Australian boxing history. But again, there's so much history already that I've done. I don't need to prove nothing to nobody. I look in front of the mirror. I know who George Kambosos is. I know who the warrior is, and I'm not ashamed. I keep my head up, my chin up, head up, my chest out, and live to fight another day. We'll have to wait and see. Talk about that.
Yeah. Thanks everyone, and happy birthday, George Kambosos.